Joe Howard, guy I've known for 36 years, I guess.
That long, huh?
Scary.
I thought longer than that.
Well, let's see, about 1976, if I recall correctly.
Yep. About 70, yeah, that's about right.
So anyway,
Do the math.
yeah, I can almost do math nowadays. But the subject of this interview is basically our common experiences at Roberts Municipal Stadium in Evansville, Indiana, which, by the way, as of today, is a pile of rubble.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Tore down today, huh?
yeah. They started on it earlier last week.
What, did they implode it or something?
No, it was actually done with excavators, etc. So they just kind of knocked it down. They salvaged glass and stuff out, but sold off the seats and a bunch of other memorabilia type stuff. But the building itself is history. So you and I went to see Kiss together there one time. Stood outside for hours, waiting for the doors to open.
Did I have face paint on?
Not that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a few other times. Yeah, and I forget kind of who opened up. I know I saw Kiss twice in 1 week at Market Square Arena and at Roberts Stadium. And Bob Seger was the opening act, and they had an Artful Dodger also open for Bob Seger, and then it was Kiss after Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. I think that might have been that night the light interest collapsed, which later on when I opened for Kiss, I told Gene Simmons about that night, and he remembered it very well. He said the guy was right back up there the next night, fighting something else.
With a cast on,
Yeah, oh yeah. I saw another show there that I liked real well, was Alice Cooper, and it was when he was kind of on the downslide on his Special Forces tour. And the opening act, he didn't wear his trademark Alice Cooper makeup, and he had his hair tied back. It almost didn't look like he had any hair. And it was in the height of his addiction period. And Bill Squire opened up. And also there was supposed to be a third opener by the guy by the name of Bram Tchaikovsky. And he didn't play that night because they were either late or somebody from the band couldn't make it or something. But I was really wanting to see them, but they didn't play. So it was Billy Squire and then Alice Cooper on the Special Forces tour, which was great album, great tour, but definitely a down point in his career, and he went up ever since then. But let's see what
Alice is now doing late night radio, some of it from the road on the bus, but that's another story entirely.
Yeah. Yep, he's very active in radio. Excuse me. And then another show I'll never forget was the very first time that I met my good friend of many years, Robin, the lead singer of Cheap Trick. They opened for REO Speedwagon, and me and my girlfriend at the time, by the name of Lisa Hollis, we were kind of not really backstage, but back behind the stage. We didn't have a backstage pass or anything. And that's the first time that I met Robin Zander, and we've been friends ever since. And never forget that show. I was there to see Cheap Trick, not REO Speedwagon. But I'll always remember that. It was, I forget what date, but it was in 1977. And that was a good show, too. But gosh, so many other shows I saw there. I can't name them all, but those were some of the most memorable ones.
Yeah, I saw several myself there, including Elvis and, of course, Kiss, as well as Leonard Skinner and, 83 visits to the Hadi Shrine Circus or something. A lot of them.
Yeah.
But the place is pretty much leveled, and we're all going to miss it. And Joe, I know that.
Well, I felt the same way when they took out Market Square Arena. I had very fond memories of that place too, and instead of fixing it up, they tore it down. So, but they got the Ford Center in Evansville now, right? So, which I haven't been to yet.
I have not either, but I'm looking forward to it. So the next question I have for you is: did you ever perform at Roberts Stadium?
No, I did not. We were asked to, but we were playing somewhere else at the time. We were also asked to play Market Square Arena, where I never played. We were in Fort Lauderdale during spring break, and we got a call from our agent, who sadly passed away a couple weeks ago, Dave Humbert. And we were asked to open for Ted Nugent at Market Square Arena. And we talked to the guy. at Penrose when we were playing Fort Lauderdale. He had a private jet and everything, but it was just going to cost a lot more than we were going to make that night. So we had to pass on that one too. We would have had stage gear provided, but the Learjet was going to be like, $5,000 or $5 or $6,000 to take up from Fort Lauderdale, and we were going to get paid like a couple of grand or $1,500 or something. But, so we couldn't do it.
Not a paying proposition.
Right. Yes. And so, but yeah, I never played Robert Stadium. Okay. I never played Robert Stadium. Always wanted to. Saw Kiss there a lot of times. Saw Cheap Trick there a lot of times. I'm trying to think of the last concert I saw there.
Probably Aerosmith or Van Halen. I think they're the ones that kind of wrap
up. Yeah. I think my did was at Robert Stadium was for Aerosmith and special guest Cheap Trick. I had a buddy that was Aerosmith keyboard tech that he also played. He played with Cheap Trick during Cheap Trick's set on keyboard, and he was a good buddy of mine. He was an old fan of Wire Earth. He got me all access passes for that, and I took my stepson Justin and a guy from the church I go to that used to be an elder there, and we were backstage. Of course, we got in before they opened the doors and got to hang out on the stage and look at all the Cheap Trick's guitars and Aerosmith's guitars. But the thing about Aerosmith was the guy that worked for him told me that they had these two tents behind the stage, two canopy tents, all sealed all the way around. One of them was for Steven Tyler, and one of them was for Joe Perry, and they were called the Freak Out tents. They'd go in there and scream, and when they get upset or something. So I guess they had that everywhere. And here's an interesting memory I have of that night. I think this was about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. I walked in the place, and it was before the doors were open. I walked out on stage and looked out, and Aerosmith had that catwalk going out into the crowd,
Yep.
And there was 5 hanging mics on each side of that. There was 10 hanging mics hanging from the ceiling, 5 on each side of that catwalk. And so I asked him. I said, "Are they recording live tonight or something?" He goes, "No." I said, "What's all those microphones for?" And he said, "Well, come here." He took me on the side of the stage, and they had 2 96-channel monitor consoles. One was for Aerosmith, and one was for Steven Tyler. And all those microphones were for Steven Tyler's ears so he could hear the crowd scream.
Wow. Okay.
And so, yeah, I remember that night well. Yeah, that was the last show I saw there was Aerosmith and Cheap Trick.
Interesting.
Love them.
Yeah, well, I don't, like I said, and neither one of us has been in the Ford Center yet, but hopefully they kind of duplicated at least the ambiance, because Roberts had an interesting and unique ambiance, which is why some of the acts really like playing there.
Yep, I sure liked it. I think the first artist to play the Ford Center was Bob Seger. And I was going to go because I'm friends with the guitar player. I played in the Gods with the guitar player, Mark Chatfield. But I got a hold of him, and he said, I won't be in Evansville. He just had left the band about 3 weeks prior to that date, so I didn't go. So, but I think Bob Seger was actually the first artist that played the Ford Center.
Well, he can fill about any place where he goes.
Yeah.
Dan, our common friend Dan, and I went to see him a year ago, I guess.
Yep.
And he pretty much filled that place, Lucas, whatever it is. And it was a good show, but I didn't get near as much video as I'd like because they didn't allow good cameras in there. Anyway, Robert Stadium, part of our past at this point, and it'll be missed. Joe, I want to thank you for being on the Oopa Loopa Cafe, and we got to hook up and get you in the studio to rip off a few riffs one of these days.
That sounds great. Anytime. You got my number.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Bye-bye.